Hi Yogi, Veronique here with our December tutorial. Although it's not really going to be a tutorial this month. We are going to have more of a gentle stretch class. So I invite you to have a cozy blanket on top of your mat, 2 blocks, a blanket, and a bolster. So get all of your cozy things when you're ready. Maybe you get your dog and cat or any furry lovey thing that you have and then come and join me on the mat. We'll start in a comfortable seat. I invite you to have a blanket underneath your seat or maybe a pillow, something so that you can elevate your hips higher than your knees, finding this nice release into your hips. And then when you're ready, you can come to close your eyes down. So we'll just come into a little bit of centering. Finding this nice rise and fall of the breath. And just feeling for any spots where the body is holding on. And then just giving permission to surrender. And just taking a few more breaths here. And then if you'd like, you can set an intention for your practice. You can put your hands where they want to be or bring the palms together to touch at heart space. And just cultivating an awareness of what you'd like to bring into existence. And so it could be a sense of calm, maybe a sense of healing. Maybe it's to breathe in love, compassion, any reason that brought you to your mat. And then when you feel clear on your intention, breathe it in and breathe it out. You can keep your eyes closed or have a soft gaze. We'll release the hands onto the knees. Then we'll start to stir the pot. So nice hip circles. You can go any direction that feels intuitive first. We will do both sides. And then 3 nice circles the other way. Coming back through center, we'll inhale, extend the fingertips towards the sky, reach up and out of the side bodies. And then as you exhale, releasing your right fingertips down by your side, reach the left arm up and over. Have a sense of spiraling your heart towards the sky, so opening up. You might even take your left hand to your left shoulder, encouraging more opening as you continue to ground your left sits bone down. And then we'll inhale, float the fingertips towards the sky. As you exhale, drizzling the left hand down as you reach the right arm up and over. Ah. So sounds are encouraged. Letting go, feeling for that nice release. And we'll inhale, come back through center, extend the fingertips towards the sky. And then as you exhale, release your hands. We'll take nice shoulder rolls, maybe together or separately, one direction and the other way. Good. And then we'll come into a tabletop position, hands and knees. It might be nice to take your blanket, spread it out so that you have padding underneath the knees. It might be nice to bring your blocks at the top of the mat just in case. Once you arrive in your tabletop, you'll take a moment to guide yourself there. Spread the fingers and rocking side to side. So we'll continue those movements like we did in seated. So start to draw circles through the hips, 3 big circles, one direction. And 3 big circles the other way. Coming back through center, and then come to stand on the shins. So I'm just adjusting this way so you can see. Barry is a little rambunctious from this cooler weather, I think. So you'll inhale, reach the arms out and up. And then bringing the right hand to your hip, we'll stretch the left arm up and over. This time moving breath per movement. Inhale, come to rise up. Bringing your left hand to your hip as you reach the right arm up and over. We'll inhale, come back through center, extend the arms up, and then exhale, hands to prayer at the heart. So I'm just turn this way so you can see, but you can stay on the mat the direction that you were in. We're going to step the right leg out to the right, coming into this gate pose. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. As you exhale, bring the right hand to your hip once again, this time just finding a little bit of a deeper access into this right leg. Inhale, come back up through center. You'll release your left hand either onto a block or onto the ground as you drape that right arm over the ear, finding for spaciousness into the right side body. We'll inhale, come to rise all the way back up. As you exhale, hands to prayer at the heart, and then mindfully release the right knee to meet the left. If you know you want the block for that transition, just switching the block to the other side. Oops, I meant to throw that inside the house. So coming back to that gate pose on the second side, Barry, drop it. Good boy. This is real yoga, right? Just breathing through the distractions. So extending the left leg out. And then we'll bring the left hand to the hip as you extend the right arm up and over. And we'll inhale, come back through center. And then releasing the right hand either onto the ground or onto a block as we drape the left arm up and over. So just feeling like every time we come into a side stretch, just finding a little bit of a different access point to get just a little bit more release. And then we'll inhale, come to rise all the way back up. Exhale, hands to prayer at the heart as we guide the left knee to meet the right. Good, and then come to sit on your shins. We'll set up for Sphinx pose with some restoration options. So you'll want to have one of your blocks on the highest height at the top of the mat, and then have your bolster or pillows to replicate a pillow such as this underneath the rib cage. And then if you want that added support underneath the front hip bones, just adjust your blanket so it comes underneath you. And then you'll come to lay atop your bolster, releasing your weight down. So this should feel quite nice. And you can kind of negotiate. Sometimes you just need to adjust. And then walk your feet to the corners of the mat. This should feel like a really nice, cushy, cozy Sphinx pose with the pillow or the bolster supporting you. And then if you'd like, you can release your head onto the block. You can stay in stillness, or if it feels good, just slowly start to rock the head from side to side, getting this really nice massage across the forehead. You might even kind of experiment with the placement of the block, kind of finding it might feel nice to have the edge at the center of the forehead. And then as you go, releasing your shoulders away from your ears. And just a couple more breaths here. And then gently lifting the head up, finding just a couple of breaths in an active sphinx, drawing the heart through and guiding the back of the skull back in space. Feel for lightness into the lumbar spine. If it's too intense, you can always back out of it a little bit. And then we'll shift into a variation of our child's pose. So bringing your palms to where your elbows were. Tuck the toes under. Sending the sits bones towards the heels. So walk the knees to where your blanket is. And then you'll start to drape over your bolster like so. You might adjust your bolster slightly forward so you get a little bit of a deeper access point into your shoulders. Feeling for the spaciousness into the side bodies. And just breathing into this. A couple more breaths. And slowly begin to walk your hands back in space. Ooh, good. We'll move the bolster to the side. And then adjust your blanket once again. We're going to sit on the blanket. We want just a little bit of lift for this seat. What's so funny is Barry's normally so chill when I practice by myself. It's like he knows he's being filmed. Being a little bit of a clown dog. All right, so we're going to come into our Paschimottanasana seated forward fold with the help of our props. So you'll want to have the blocks nearby. Have them on the middle setting alongside your hips. And then we'll have the bolster on top of our legs. So if you're feeling pretty tight in the hips and the hamstrings and in the lower back these days, feel free to bend the knees as much as you'd like, and you can always add more and more pillows to release into this a little bit further. We're going to kind of wedge this bolster into the hip crease and then start to hinge forward. And then the blocks are there for the forearms. You can kind of release here. Barry, if you don't mind just moving out of the way so people can see what's happening. So you're going to release like so. You can let your head sort of hang, or maybe you bend your knees any amount so that your forehead can release onto the bolster. And just feeling for this nice release into the lower back. If you feel any strain whatsoever, feel free to come out of it a little bit. We're just looking to find a really nice stretch into the back body. And breathing into it, just 5 more breaths. And slowly come to rise out of the fold, so moving nice and mindfully. You might enjoy rolling up the spine or hinging at the hips. Ooh. move the bolster to the side. You can move the blocks to the side, finding Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet together, knees out. It might be nice to bring the bolster underneath the knees if you'd like, just giving a little bit more support for the knees. You can always add more padding underneath if you wish. And then we'll take a hold of the ankles, and just like we've done in our seat, in our tabletop, we'll find those hip circles once again. So you might pass through a cow pose, journey the ribs to one direction, journey through a cat pose, and journey the ribs to the other direction. So nice and easy, 2 more rounds this direction. And then 3 nice big hip circles the other way. And coming back through center. Good. Rather than take this forward, we'll actually do the opposite and take it back. So you might want to shift forward on your mat a little bit, and then we'll find a really nice variation of opening up through the heart. So you'll open your blanket up like so. So it's like this nice big rectangle. And then we'll fold it like a letter. So you'll bring one end of the blanket about halfway in, and then the other part of the blanket like so, like you're folding a letter, a piece of paper into an envelope. And then if you have fringe on your blanket, you'll put the fringe away from you to the back of your mat. And so this narrow part is what's going to catch your spine. Before you come to lay down, we're going to curl the end of the blanket under once, and then you'll come to lay back. So you might enjoy staying with your feet together, sort of assessing once you get down. So move nice and slowly, finding that perfect spot. And then before you release the head, lift the head up a little bit, and then curl the blanket underneath the neck. So it's like this really nice support under the head for the neck. And you can really see arms away from the body, or have the palms on the body. Close the eyes and surrender here. And start to feel your connection to the earth, and perhaps at once feel a lightness in your body, a sense of upliftedness. And then little by little releasing the control of your breath, releasing any holding in the body. Just surrender into this perfect, peaceful puddle of bliss. And letting go. You can stay in this shape for your Shavasana or corpse pose. Maybe you extend the legs long or have the soles of the feet on the ground. And feel free to linger for as long as you wish. If you would like to be guided out, very slowly begin to deepen your breath. Inviting any little wiggles or movements back into the body. So starting small, maybe wiggling the fingers and toes, perhaps making circles through the ankles and the wrists, and gently shifting your head from side to side. And perhaps stretching the arms up overhead, taking nice full body stretch. And you're welcome to close practice on your back. If you're ready to journey to seated, do so with the eyes closed with as little effort as possible. Rolling onto one side, maybe linger there for a beat or 3. And then with as much ease as possible, pressing your way up to seated. Maybe sitting back onto your bolster or your blanket. And just taking a moment to observe. And just calling to mind your intention. And feeling for any subtle or profound shifts during your practice. I invite you to carry your intention with you off of the mat throughout your day. And breathing it in. And breathing it out. Thank you so much for practicing, for sharing breath and intention. Thank you.